Saturday, the 13th of April at number 2 Church Street in Matarita, Orima, the annual Ogun Festival is going to be taking place. And joining us this morning to share more and enlighten us is Chief Shaka Alexander and Nkosi Kwesi from the Ile Ijosin Otura Meji Awan Oshun. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have both of you on the show with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for waking up so early and joining us for this one. Now, before we get into the history and significance of this annual Ogun Festival, let's speak a little bit about your organization. It's non-profit, but let's get a little bit of story behind the history and significance and the role it plays in society today, Chief.
Okay, well, Ile Ijosin Otura Meji Awan Oshun, as you had said, it's a non-profit organization. Our Ile, in which we term it, has been around for, you could say, 26 years. It was first founded by our chief priestess, Yeye Abomola Ulumitu Ido Oshun, Yeye Omot Haiwo, and her husband, Baba Opak Hunle, and they were assisted by another priest called Araba Osho. And our Ile, it is under the Orisha deity called Oshun. So our shrine predominantly was established by Oshun. And then after we started to engage in venerating other Orisha. So first and foremost, it was established under the energy of the deity Oshun, you know, and since then we have grown. We have a lot of members, we have a lot of children, you know, and we engage the community a lot.
I'm glad you mentioned engagement because something that's so important is, of course, engaging the younger generation. Mm-hmm. How are you able to engage the younger generation to ensure the continuity of the tradition specifically?
One of the things we do, we have classes. So we have a lot of people now moving out of traditional religion and seeking, you know, to connect back with their ancestry, their roots. And many of them are all over asking questions. So many times they come, we start them off in a class, and then, you know, we have activities to help, as we would say, clean them up. Because some people would come with all kinds of baggage and all kinds of spiritual traumas. Mm-hmm. And we must take care of them spiritually. So one of the things we engage in, we take care of a lot of children. We take care of adults as well. Mm-hmm. And we clean them up, you know. And it is done through divination, in which we tap in to find out what is really troubling this person, you know, and what is the road they must walk in order to come out of their problems spiritually. And you know, as a society, once we identify the spiritual problems we are having, we'd have a better Trinidad and Tobago. Because a lot of our problems we have are based from spiritual issues that we tend to overlook.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, so
definitely a root cause that needs to be dealt with across the board. And Kosi, let's bring you into the conversation this morning. Welcome again. Can you share with us a little bit of the history of the annual Ogun Festival and what we can look forward to this year?
Okay, so this year is our 7th Ogun Festival. As Chief said earlier, you know, we are predominantly an Oshun shrine. You know, we started off mainly venerating the Orisha Oshun. But as we've grown over the years and developed, we started, you know, extend ourselves to venerate more Orisha, you know. So Ogun is one of the Orisha that we chose to start celebrating in 2019, which is this one will be our 7th edition of the festival. We saw the need, as I said, to celebrate Orisha, to celebrate Ogun. Ogun is commonly known as the god of iron, the god of war. I mean, steel pan is the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, which is iron, you know. So Ogun is an important deity to the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. So that is basically how we started off, you know. We saw the native venerate Ogun. We saw Ogun as an important deity in the country, and this is where we are today, the 7th edition of the Ogun Festival.
Can you walk us through what the experience will be like at the festival for those who have never been?
Oh, it's beautiful. As I saw in the video earlier, that was just part of the program. That's part of that's like a traditional spiritual dance that we do during the festival. Also, we have, as I mentioned, the steel band. Before we have steel band there, we have entertainment. We'll also have discussion, information on Ifa, which is the tradition that we practice, and also on Ogun, and also on Orisha in general. You know, so it's really a lovely thing. It's beautiful. People come out, enjoy themselves, eat, drink, and be merry, and this is what the Ogun Festival is about.
It's beautiful, and of course it's open to everybody, which is something that's so important as well. Chief, in your experience, would you say there are any challenges that the organization faces when it comes to hosting these events, but also just generally sharing and enlightening society?
Well, success and failure is within oneself. So whatever we put out there, we know that the energy of Ogun, in fact, the energy of the deities would support us. So whatever obstacle we ever encounter, we know it is there in order to make us stronger. We don't see obstacles as anything to pull us down, because we know that especially Ogun children, we are at Iraq, we are at the point, and we consider ourselves warriors. So whatever challenge, whatever obstacles, you know, we have as we would say, a strong back, and we push forward and directly, you know, so we don't see anything as any hindrance.
Everything is a chance to grow and to learn and to share. And as we would have been speaking earlier about the fact the younger generation is a big part of this as well, and the sharing, you did say that many people now are becoming more open to understanding where they come from and their true spirituality. Have you seen that interest grow, let's say even more so during, let's say, COVID-19 up to now?
Well, during the pandemic, you know, a lot of people was at home, and a lot of social media platforms had born out of that. So we had a lot of people now tapping into natural lifestyles. And you cannot talk about a natural lifestyle if you do not tap into your origin. So a lot of people from that time had started to, you know, investigate about where they really came from and what their ancestors had practiced. And because of that, we have noticed that there had been an influx of people getting into African spirituality to find out what their ancestors had practiced. And a lot of people now, they are waking up because they now are saying that many things they had heard about Ifa Orisha practice in the past was just inundated false information to keep them away from their roots. And we have seen where our elders, our ancestors, their prayers and their libation have made root where our people are waking up. It's not that we are knocking any other way of life, but every group of people have a particular soil in which they are supposed to thrive in. Everything has its place, everything has its space to thrive in. And once you as a person could find your space, come on, you would walk the path of your destiny in growth and development. Asheo.
Definitely will. Can we touch very briefly on the role of ancestral reverence? Because something that you mentioned there, you know, over the years, lots of unfortunately negative connotations because not being aware, not understanding. So can you enlighten us to the role of ancestral reverence within the tradition?
We are nothing without our ancestors. Even you being here, it is through your ancestors. So our ancestors, we know, had come from the motherland. And they would have come here with their traditional practices. But through, you know, the role of colonization, you know, certain things was distorted to a point. But the good thing is, as Black Stalin had said, more of our people started to come. So despite it had that issue in slavery and colonization, our people still managed to hold on to our practice and bring it from that point up until where it is now. And even now, we are even closer connected to our brothers and sisters across in Africa, because now we have them come and there is somewhat of a cultural exchange. So sometimes what we don't know, we will often call and find out, hey, how this is done. So now we are more engaged in doing the more indigenous part of the practice, because we have that direct connection back home. And even in our concept here of Trinidad and Tobago, we must embrace our uniqueness, even our style of singing, our style of dance and drums. It is based on our spiritual ashe of this land. You know, we are a soca people. We are a rhythmic people. So based on that, with everything combined, we are able to preserve and uplift our way of life.
Well, Chief, thank you so much for that. And Nkosi, thank you for joining us. Hoping that you both have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
And hoping that we'll see you again on the show soon.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it happening on the 13th of April in Church Street, Matarita. It is the Ogun Festival. And stay tuned, because